because we get to introduce you guys to this place here. On many of the videos, we have comments whereby people are asking questions about the place that we are in. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a tour of this place. Brothers and sisters, you guys can sit down and just try to make a walking space around so that we can walk all around the area. First off, people, they have mentioned the first thing that comes to, that attracts their eyesight when they're watching the videos or they notice the place here. They say, wow, there are a lot of paintings on the wall, a lot of pictures. Some people are also like semi-offended by that, or they say that how can this be a place of worship when you have images? And this is a direct reference to one of the commandments, actually, in Judaism that bases the foundation for Christianity in Judaism, where Moses, he goes and he meets God. And when he meets God, God gives him these 10 commandments that people have to abide by. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife, etc. And they go through the 10 commandments. Well, one of them was a specific commandment to not take or make any graven images. And there are groups of Jewish people who have interpreted this commandment to mean that you are not allowed to make any statues, idols, you can't make any paintings. And you also find this commandment seeping through into Islam because there are these narrations from the greatest Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he forbids that anybody is to make any images of any creatures, animals, or human beings, or anything of the sort. All right? And there's other narrations that mention that some of the people that are tortured on the Day of Judgment are those who make images, and God brings them forward and tells them that they must blow into it. And if they're incapable of blowing life into it, then they're punished, etc., etc. And so some Muslims, especially like the more extremist fundamentalists, like the Wahhabi school of thought or the Salafi school of thought, will take this to be a direct commandment that it is haram to make any statues, it is haram to draw any images or to make any paintings. These same hadiths exist also in Shia Islam. And yet, what's interesting is that we find in these Shia majority countries such as Iran and in Iraq that it is a widespread phenomenon where you will find images on the streets and being sold, and images in the houses of Shia hung on the walls of Imam Ali alayhi salam, paintings of Karbala, paintings of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And when you go to their scholars and you ask, or you look into the questions that they have received of, okay, well, you have these narrations that are explicitly saying that it's haram to have these images, and yet at the same time you have these images. Well, how do you explain this? And the scholars will always say, the Shia scholars, that it is only haram to make an image, make an idol, paint a painting, if it is trying to portray the divine. So if you're painting the Lord of Lords, if you're trying to make a painting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who cannot be described, and then this is haram. If you make an image or a statue or a photograph or a painting with the intention of worshiping that thing, like the Christians have, for example, images of Jesus Christ, And they consider this to be shirk because they know that the Christians worship the person of Jesus, and because this is an image of what the Christians would consider to be the deity, they consider that this form of imagery, this form of painting is what is haram, because the intention behind it is to pray to the portrait, to pray to the object that the portrait is trying to project, right? So it is that which is regarded as haram for most Muslims. Even Sunni Muslims, for the most part, they allow that children and people and artists, that they make images and they paint and they sculpt statues and things of this nature, because it is not being used for worship. So the same concept applies here. We too believe that it is impermissible and it is a great sin to make a statue or to draw a painting of the ultimate God, or to make a statue of a false God that you have the intention of worshiping. But because none of these images that you see here are portraying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and none of the people here worship any of the statues or any of the images on the wall, we consider that to be fine, that this is not polytheism, it's clearly not shirk. Is there anybody here that's worshiping any of the statues or the images on the wall? No. Good. Another further interesting point to prove that it is permissible to make statues and to draw images is the fact that you have a covenant prophet